Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello.
All right, this one's working now.
Huh?
Okay.
All
This
right.
one's-
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Tony. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, we've got other folks joining us directly. I'm going to mute you for now, okay?
All right. Thanks.
I'll switch to the whole cam. Okay. So.
How come I can't leave that meeting? You
Yes.
start it?
Close it for now and we'll. All right. Hi there.
How are you? Do you need me to? Are you staying the
To be
whole
good.
time?
I'm staying the whole time. I hope to be good. All right, so I want to. This is me right here.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. All right, so kind of enrollment for our new members. We always report on enrollment in our wait list because we are funded by enrollment. So we want to kind of keep you in the loop on where we are with that. We are at 501 students as of today. We've had a few leave at the 9 weeks and brought in and are bringing in a couple, which is very normal. So that is where we are. Our budget, our goal is to always be over 500 this year. So to try to keep that average. Our wait list is very strong. We have 193 students between all grades. Heavier in the 9th and 10th grade, but that is, again, very normal because we just take them year to year from when they apply to the lottery. And there are times when we call 11th graders that have been on there that applied for 9th grade and, you know, either they're settled where they are, or they're excited to get into GMC still. So that's kind of enrollment. We are in the last week of open enrollment for our rising freshman class for next year. Good. So we are have about 230 applicants for 140 spots. I know. Okay, perfect. So 140 spots, about 230 applications. That is a little bit down compared to last year, but not significantly. So I'm not sure if it's COVID related because people are uncertain of what they're doing. We've done even more outreach this year than we typically do. So I wouldn't say it's concerning, but it is a little bit different. But we're in great shape, more than enough applicants and a lot of people interested. If you know of any families that are interested, please make sure they apply this week because this is the last, it closes the 30th. If you are a social media user, please go and like, share. We've been putting a bunch of stuff out there on our Facebook page. So if you can share that just on your page, that helps us reach more people. That's a huge part of our marketing strategy. We do some ads and stuff on that kind of piece, but that's been a huge thing for us. So there's several you can share. There's a video tour on our website where our great admin team was very wonderful to work with us. And we put a little video together that's filmed in different parts of the school to attempt to kind of show the school since we're not allowed to do tours. Our tours were just way too big for us to be able to even consider doing that. So our hope is that we can reschedule them in the spring and that once we accept our first class that we're going to incorporate that into their meeting when they come in the spring for intake. So it's a little bit different, but everything's in good shape for that. Our fundraising, I think I've talked a little bit about this in the past, is a little bit different too. We're doing some online fundraising. Our events have been a little bit postponed, so we've done more transactional type of things. And so our hope is that the spring is going to be better and that we can go back to some of the traditional things that we've done. The other piece, so that's kind of the fundraising piece, is the Parents and Partnership Committee, which is the committee that runs kind of our lunch program. They run teacher appreciation and kind of hospitality type events at the school. Lunch is running smoothly. We brought back, we're being it back at full capacity, minus a few quarantine students, having some adjustments, but everything is going well. We also, because PIP had some funds that had not been spent in the past couple of years, donated $6,000 to like Promethean boards, which are to help our teachers for the virtual learning, have donated towards athletics and helped with the COVID room. So they kind of wanted to spend down a little bit what they have and give it back to the school. So those are just kind of some of the things that committee has been doing over the last few months. We're also trying to regroup on teacher appreciation and how you do those type of things, given that a lot of that was baked things and things made from home. So we're doing like little goodie bags for Halloween, but it's just a little different and maybe not as to the extent of that we could do before, but trying to redo some of those things. Any questions for me? I think that's a hard question. I mean, I think a lot of it is, it's an uncertain time, so how do you plan for what you're going to do? And I'm sure a lot of times coming to the school and seeing what it's about, it's very impressive to come in here and see what these teachers are doing. Like, you get somebody here and you take them in a classroom and they're like, wow. So I'm sure that has a big deal of people's decision, like if they could come take a tour and apply. So it's hard. I mean, we've tried to do that same kind of thing in video, but it's not the same. Right. That was done with Roebuck. They had a person, they're beautiful, they turned out great. So we're in good shape, but it is definitely different. Yes, yes. So we are about 50-something siblings, which is a very high percentage of 140, about the same as last year as far as siblings. So that makes it kind of, when you're bringing in a new family, and if you're ever trying to focus on things like diversity or anything like that, when you're having 60 siblings come in, it's hard, but good and bad things, you know, like, so, but very strong siblings. Thank you, guys.
Here we go. Hopefully you can hear me now. Sorry about the feedback.
Hey, this is Tony. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, Heather, thank you for all you've done. I know we'll have a mad rush here the last day. That's always the case, a flurry of applications. And use this the next week, they're coming in crying because they didn't get it in on time. So I always say you got to get in it to win it. A couple of things. I want to welcome all our new board members. Look forward to working with you. Again, thank Darren, your committee, the Policy and Governance Committee did a great job with the election. I know that's a lot of work. And it went from where I sit and everything I've seen, it went pretty smooth. I mean, to that end, I know y'all had to burn a little midnight oil to make it happen, but it did. You have board email accounts. If you haven't already logged in, I think see David if you've got a question or have any problems there. I do want to remind you that your board email is subject to FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act. So anything you email back and forth can be requested and received by the public. So just be aware of that. You also have to have board training if you haven't had training before. Those are returning have had training, but you have to do it within 1 year of the election. And I'll get some more information from the Alliance about training. You can do it hopefully still online. And so you can do it self-paced to that end. Reopening of school, we've backed again the second week, 4 days face-to-face. And COVID, I'm going to ask James, he's been kind of like Mike Pence. He's kind of like the committee heading up everything COVID. And let him say a little bit about where we are today and what it looks like.
Quick update. Like Mr. Crawford said, I think most of you guys know we moved from our hybrid model to offering 4 days a week for all students that are choosing that last Monday, so a week ago today. We still have about 44 families out of all 500 that chose to stay online only. We had about 5 or 6 decide, okay, if everybody's coming back, you can't social distance, we want to go online. But we also had about 3 or 4 that were online only and said, okay, everybody else is coming back, we want our kid, this online thing is whatever, so they wanted to come. So it pretty much balanced out to remain where we've been the rest of the year. We currently have 59 students that are quarantined, but about a dozen of those are cross-country runners who have voluntarily quarantined to hopefully allow them to not have to quarantine right before the state meet. Most of you know our cross-country team, both boys and girls, have a really, really good shot at winning state. So it was a fairly smart move, especially for the ones whose grades are really, really good anyway, great kids, great students. And we're not the only school that's doing that, so it's not an uncommon thing for those athletes to self-quarantine. So out of that 59, and 17 are coming back. Well, they came back today. So that number seems high, but it's really not quite that high for quarantine specific. We're waiting on 2 tests from students to come back. We've had 4 come back recently for faculty that were all negative. And we're up to a total of 4. You got the email. I literally all my numbers were updated as of the end of school today. We got our 4th positive case overall for the entire school year today. 3 were from last week. So like Monday, Tuesday last week. So I'm no virologist. I'm not claiming this as a medical professional. Common sense tells me that had nothing to do with us returning to school 4 days a week. Any positive test from that step, if it happens, would probably start rolling in this week. Almost every one of them we run into, there's a story behind where the student did something outside of school, a vacation or something like that, a wedding. Just an FYI, our parents, one reason we're doing what we're doing besides it's the best academic model is just what 90% of our parents wanted based on our surveys. They want their kids in school. So if you hear any complaints, what we're getting the complaints about are the quarantines. So if you listen to my phone blast from Friday, I kind of put in the end there that we want the kids in school. We want to keep the school open. That's what we want as well. Kind of the price we have to pay is the quarantine price. If it happens, we're quarantining maybe up to 50 kids, but that keeps the other 450, gives them the ability to come to school 4 days a week. So hopefully, and they're fine with that until it's their child, and then they get upset. And they usually calm down, just in case they go emailing or calling some of you guys. We are doing what DHEC is basically requiring us to do if we're going to have our doors open. Fall break and Thanksgiving are right around the corner, so that'll be beneficial when it comes to this kind of thing. And we said we would be monitoring every other week, but it's literally something we're watching every day. So just case by case, day by day.
And could you share with us the procedures you have in place as far as cleansing after the kids come in and out?
Every day, David's crew, I think they all have their own little Ghostbuster looking sprayer thing. And David can speak to the very safe to us, but deadly to the virus chemical that's in that thing. And they're hitting tables between the lunches, they're hitting the classrooms every night, right?
Yeah, we are using electrostatic aerosol sprayers, and we're using a couple of different disinfectants. Our primary disinfectant is hydrogen peroxide. It's a diluted level. We're using that airborne all throughout the building, throughout the day. In fact, this area that you were seeing, it was sprayed about an hour before you came in tonight. We're also using BioS, which is a different surface cleaner that is based upon thyme oil, so it's botanical. Both are basically mildly basic. So we're spraying in between classes as we can. All of our teachers have hydrogen peroxide bottles in their classrooms so they can have the kids wipe down their tables between classes. So as they're leaving, they're having them spray the tables and leave it at that. We were spraying the cafeteria like crazy because that's a place where most of the kids do have their masks off for the longest period of time. And so far, and we have not had a contact tracing that indicated that we passed a case of COVID inside the building.
And I think it's because of what you are doing, and I very appreciate the procedures y'all have in place.
Yeah.
We're also trying not to destroy the furniture that you just bought for us.
Yeah.
So we're not using bleach or anything we've got a couple of places that you see staying for carpet. We'll really work on that until this kind of passes, but we do have a place where we try to use it and we stop using it. It's all in place for just to keep it.
And we did add, our ventilation system, as good or bad as it's been depending on the day, did have the capacity to add UVA lights, and so we've done that as well. So that's another layer to maybe help us, and again with the air quality.
How are we on staff and teachers? Do we, all our staff teachers reporting to work?
We probably have 1 or 2 more than normal. You guys know at your jobs, you got your normal absentee stuff still in addition to the COVID.
Anybody in COVID, we're telling they can't work outside your thing.
We do have one faculty member who's teaching virtually from his house. And
And the guidance
that's one
counselor.
teacher and we have two
The
other
guidance
staff
counselors at
members.
risk too.
One
Vicky.
staff, okay, one teacher,
Yeah.
one guidance counselor, and then another staff member who limits her exposure by coming 2 days a week.
And yeah, and she's had some serious health issues and was recently exposed and went into self-quarantine, but has come back negative. But she's gone through some major health issues. So, and you just have to, you know,
Yeah, all the folks are in, they
Yeah.
fall into the CDC high-risk category.
We've seen a lot of compliance from the students. Obviously, kids.
Yes,
yeah,
yeah, a lot is relative, I guess. To me, I think we're getting a lot of compliance. To some people, maybe not. I think they're following our instructions fairly well, especially when we're around. I think they're doing great with the mask. Obviously, there's kids not wearing it right or taking it off too much or whatever, but you know, like you say, for teenagers, all things considered, in my opinion, I think they're doing a really
Well-
good job. And if they're crowding up too much at lunch,
we
break them up.
gotta
They're
remind
learning.
them, you know, 3 feet, you know, gotta go, you know, 6 feet, you can take your mask off. Had 5 came in this morning, didn't have masks, so we have masks as you check in, just to make sure, to that end. On the other hand, I've applied for another CARES Act grant for PPE support and also some other equipment like plexiglass. And don't know when the state is going to give us an answer. They told us 72 hours, which has been, it's been closer to 5 days now. So we'll wait and see. So we'll keep you posted on that. And again, that gives us the tools and what we need to work with going in. And
I think the kids are learning with the quarantines we've had to do over the past week and a half to follow the instructions.
yeah,
They don't like being quarantined, so, you know, it's kind of doing that for them to understand.
yeah,
We're not telling you to stay apart, just because they know we're going to watch the film from the lunch. We're going to get who was too close based on the time and
Yeah.
regulations, and they're not going to be allowed to.
And we asked them for their cooperation in the class meetings because we want to keep school open. They need to help do their part. It takes all of us. And also, I say that because we have had a situation, we got a call from DHEC that we had a student who was positive. We didn't know it. They were in school. So we had to put them in the COVID room, call the parents and say, you know, we need you to help us because now we just had to quarantine another group of kids this afternoon because one didn't do the right thing and they're doing the tracing. So we had to send 5 more this afternoon, notices that, you know, you're gonna have to quarantine. So that's just the way it is. And, you know, DHEC does call and we report if they haven't reported. If they haven't heard from us, they're calling us, so, you know, vice versa. If they've heard from us, they've already got the name. We also have to call in Greenville Tech as well. If they're taking classes there, and they do likewise. So we're spending pretty much the majority of our day managing COVID, to be honest. Yeah, yeah.
Tony
And
and John, do y'all have anything, words of wisdom about protecting the cleaning or things we should do differently?
No.
The short answer.
can you send us some gloves and masks?
No, it sounds like y'all did a great job. I'm just wondering about the COVID room, whether they go in there and kind of sit in the corner facing the wall.
Yeah. Well, I'd say although Kim Hall resigned her position, but she's done a fantastic job as our nurse and she's a good communicator. She stays in constant contact with her. She's got a good friend that works at DHEC. And so a lot of times I'll know what's coming from the State Department of Ed before, you know, I get the letter from the superintendent. Yeah.
I will tell you that, thoughts on the third wave are not outbound. From having 0 or 1 COVID patient in the hospital within 2 days, 8 or 9. So it's something going on.
Yeah.
Somebody suggested it was, you know, it's not the
have anything to share? Tony K, you wanna tell us?
Tony's-
Talk to us? I think you can hear
I don't
me.
think you can hear you.
He might have selective hearing.
It's really hard to,
Tony, do you have anything to add to that?
Jessica said it's hard to hear.
If you guys get something and just want to forward it to me, that's fine.
Yeah,
Feel, obviously ask them, have you spoke to Mr. Dillard? So
we have a team of basically 5 of us that basically meeting daily on this to see, what we are, what we need to do.
we're almost getting too good at process, honestly. But
Well, we appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Because I think it's important, you all want to be kids in school,
definitely.
and y'all are doing a great job.
We realize why some, in our opinion, we're going the extra mile to keep kids in school. It'd be a whole lot easier to shut down and get to work.
Well, the same for athletics and everything else too, the limited capacity. The kids want to have a Halloween movie in the gym, but we're going to have to limit the number that we can have in for a ball game right now. And we just have to do it, by the protocol, kind of risk management and not being negligent.
We take this the wrong way, but I really believe this is a great marketing tool for us.
Yeah.
But it really is, what a small charter school can do compared to the big county schools. And all they're doing, child could be in school every day here, more personal every day, being taken care of versus what they do. It's marketing tool.
Even the other charter schools.
Well, health and safety, and it's priority in that case. Yeah. And we're all doing what we can.
Over enrollment for a school that's open.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. We were talking about this. We were planning rolling out things even with the hybrid early, that as soon as we say our next phase, it looked like Greenville County was saying, here's what we're going to do. We're a couple of weeks ahead of you. So, new board members, we're in litigation against the high school league on athletic eligibility. There was a rule that passed on their constitution that would eliminate any student transferring in that they didn't live in a defined, I call it imaginary zone for us. If you did not attend, you were not in Greer High zone and you came anywhere else, you'd have to sit out a year. And so we've joined with 11 other charter schools and 4 private schools. And we've got a injunction that the kids can't be penalized. We've gone through mediation. We have a meeting around the corner with our attorney, Tyler Turner, which is going to be the November 9th. And if any of you are interested and want to attend, I just put you on the guest list. You can come be a part of the Zoom, but we're looking at the verbiage, not so much if we can't do it through mediation, and it may take 2 years to get through litigation, and that's expensive. We're looking to legislatively do something to amend the law. They've had a proviso, but they have to renew it each year. They didn't get it renewed this spring is the only reason all this kind of unraveled. So we're trying to go back and get the language right and get it passed in the law, so we're not doing this every year. And if it becomes law, the lawsuit basically is mute. It disappears. So just keep you updated there on that as we go. Did have a meeting earlier with the executive committee and talking about my evaluation surveys in school. And I've made a decision that this is going to be my last year full time. I've got, as those that know, I've lost 2 parents in 10 months. My wife's back surgery and health problems and issues, and I'm needed in other ways. And I love the school. I love the work.
And we love you, Greg,
So,
and we appreciate you.
yeah. But I will help. No. I'm right around the corner. I know we got a charter renewal coming up. There's some other things that I'll either be an advisor, consult, whatever I can help you. I'll do that because I want the school to be successful. All of us, even though you're here today and what's happened with the new building and what's going to happen going forward, even though years from now nobody will know, but your fingerprints are here. And there's nothing more important than educating children. So, that being said, today, and we'll set up a timeline, I think, looking at posting a position and what the board chooses to do as far as interview process and that sort of thing. And I'll help you with that in any way I can. And it's just, it's time. I had a 3-year contract, so I'm going to try to honor the 3-year contract. Was asked at one time to extend it, and I said, let's think about it. But, you know, right now, this is just, I'm in a different place in life. You know, this is my 43rd year, and it's been good.
We're gonna miss you, but you don't miss us.
Yeah, yeah. So, but, you know, I think it's an important thing to find the right leader, you know, and again, too, the charter sector is completely different. And if you haven't been in it, you don't know that. If you've been in a traditional school, you're probably more middle management. I've been there. And I learned a lot when I went to the other side and worked in the district office and got familiar with budgets and where money is and how you can use it and where you can find it and all those things. And, but I did miss the connection of being, believe it or not, around a faculty and kids. And so when the opportunity came to do something really off the charts at that time, a high school on the college campus, and having autonomy and having a board, one board that, as this board does, you only worry about one school. You're not worried about 84 schools or a certain area, you know. And the good thing is too, if something needs to be addressed, it can happen pretty quickly. It doesn't have to go into the abyss. It may take 8-9 months to get an answer. Here, this board can come together and you can make decisions pretty quickly on what needs to happen for kids, what needs to happen for teachers, and in general, our community. So that being said, I'll just say thank you for letting me be a part of it. And I hope I served you well. I look forward to finishing the year with you, and then beyond, any way I can help you, I will still do that as well. So a couple important dates I put to open enrollment, which we've already talked about. The lottery's the 12th, and then fall break's coming up right around the corner. And I think our teachers are really ready for that. So it's, you know, it's been a lot of additional work in many ways for the teachers as well as the kids when you're going back and forth from in class and online and what support and all of this. So, but hopefully we're getting better at it, and we're prepared if this thing does break, you know, in a way that we have to pivot, we can go back to online pretty quickly because we're not taking up the hot spots or devices or checking in and out laptop cards. I mean, we can pretty well move, which we couldn't do that in the spring, basically when everything shut down. We were caught really cold, but we feel like now we can still have teaching and learning going on. So again, thank all of you. Look forward to, you know, finish up this next quarter and hopefully getting more and more of the COVID things behind us.
Thank you so much. Between now and the next month's meeting, we'll have an executive committee meeting. We'll appoint a search committee and come back with some recommendations to the board about our next step. Not the meeting I planned, but a meeting we have. Who knows what we're going to miss it. Finance committee, John, I'm sure, could you give us a report, please?
Yes, Michelle, thank you. So September was actually a very good month for us. On the balance sheet, cash balances were 3.7 million. Total assets were 16.6 million for the month. Total liabilities were up a little bit, mainly in accrued interest and accounts payable. And we still have $489,500 funds in that account. The P&L was exceptional. Total income was $522,000 against a budget of $395,000. So $7,000 more than budget. Total expenses were $401,000 versus $390,000. They're only $11,000. So our gain was $120,000 versus a budget of $14,000. I couldn't even calculate the percentage favorability. Very large favorability and a really good thing to see. So in terms of revenue, one of the things that stood out was career technology, education revenue, and vocational revenue. Both were up. We budgeted very, very conservatively. But career technology, education revenue was up to 68,000 versus a budget of 1,500, and the voc revenue was 44,000 versus a budget of 2,000.
So we're dealing with County Bank on our PPP loan. They tell us it's going to be another 90 days until we get our forgiveness letter from the Small Business Administration for that loan. It's probably a foregone conclusion, but not for another 90 days. And this month we had 289 days of cash money. That ends my report. And if you really want to be the treasurer, it won't hurt my feelings. That's what I think.
We are moving in line with phases on different things. Greg, can you bring us up to that last call currently?
Last draw on the loan for the activity center, and that's in process, and we'll need to add about $7,700, I think it's $91 over to that to close it out. So all in all, we've added a lot of other amenities as well that were not included in the construction equipment and so forth. But we only get a chance to do it once, and we're trying to do it right the first time. And we've been good stewards of the funding, and the rest that we've been able to address and meet some needs on the front end rather than the back end. And that's pretty much it to that end. And we still have general warranty and everything, and I'm sure we'll be calling the contractors here and there, but overall it's gone pretty well. And, the kids real excited, and I think you just look at how much more is added to the school, and not just athletics, but in the arts and a place to assemble. We can't get everybody now, but there'll be a day that we get everybody in there. So even the food court and the area there, I mean, it's just having it covered. It's just so much better, so much better. Don's got some things to share with you about maybe the next day. Well, and, really, the timing couldn't be better when we find a social distance staff. Still have class assembly spread out. Having meetings in here, the rest with parents, it's still can do it. Not COVID.
Yes, it's different design systems. That was one of our issues with robust maintaining contract the first time. That was really the only thing that was an issue. They had rectified it, and it had to do with really dampers like that. All penetration. They didn't want to do it. But all that's going to work.
And we're waiting on, one of the last things to finish up is the gate between the two buildings. And there's aluminum shortage, it's mostly supplied to chain the rest, but that went back and forth with getting our certificate of occupancy and what we had to do. And that'll be the last thing to zip up, which will make the campus much more, make it less accessible from the public. Everyone has to come in and out the front door, safety issues. So basically, during lunch and a lot of times class change, our SROs down there. Kids won't be able to cut through back and forth anymore. They have to come up front. So they don't get their temperature check if they come to the back. They haven't come to the front, they will.
And it went from a 36-inch gate to 40. That was the whole. Yeah, and even you could have made it, but our But having said that, we have gone to our next project, looking at the potential of the soccer fields and baseball fields. But basically, we have had, one meeting with Green Tech, and has gone to Green Tech board about the amount of land that we need to carry this project off. And that's still the area that we're still finding right now. Again, like Robert said, we have one chance to do this. So the big thing is I don't know if you can sort of see right here. But this is the old trailer park. You know, the one that was back here in the trailer park. So we do the parking lot that we put in front, to access to the field house. What happens in the field house is still yet to be determined. It's definitely locker rooms, and definitely probably a bigger weight room. We do have a current weight room, but you know, still very small. But looking at what goes in there, we need more classroom space. That would be the place that we would end up putting that. Just how big that building becomes is still yet the question. But the big thing that Greenville Tech has asked us to do is to do the initial study on the amount of acreage that we need. Of course, there's the question about what that is. And so basically what our current property line does this. So basically what we're looking at is requesting up to 20 additional acres. We know that's a big ask, you know, from Greenville Tech. We do know that that's something that, so this soccer field may be moved down, those kind of things. So we're tucked behind the school. We have a retention pond that we have to work around that is currently back there. So it may go this way, but we're trying to keep it as compact as we can. So that's what we're looking at right now. So it really is not in a design stage per se, other than just seeing how, you know, regulation, you know, because it's a regulation track with 8 lanes, regulation full-size soccer field, where we can, and then all the activities that can be done as far as the track and field unit, so we do it all on site, and then a baseball field that would be used, you know, as well as the softball.
You like that design as well as the one that, that's how I look. What did you think?
Well, the issue is, well, but that one didn't have the baseball.
That's true, we did not have it.
That's true. So that's the thing, you know, so, you know, it's, you know, I think we only really have one request to ask, you know, over in Tech is the land, and I don't think we will have another ask that they're going to grant in the future. But now it will still give, I mean, I really think this could move this way a lot. So I mean, it's already 6, you know, almost 7 acres that they have still here up front. So if we can cut that back, I think, because these are wetlands down here.
And we can put that soccer field in the
So
wetlands.
we're probably tucking all that back more behind the school instead of going for that. But the largest number that we would request would be that 20 acres. So if we can start tightening it into that 15 acre, I think that's sort of hopefully the happy spot we can get is that 15 acre.
I think their mindset's 9 to 10, and we were hoping to stay in that. If we can get them to the 15, great.
So I think we have to tie it back and forth.
They can't use that, and if we utilize it with what we need, we might have a better opportunity.
So we can stuck it. It's just, once we get it this way, we just got retention ponds and other things. Oh, we're in the process of that now. It would take about 6 months, 6 to 8 months. And then it has to get approved by the state and all that too.
For so many different commissions and higher ed and K-12 and everybody else. So it will be a year or more before we get it.
I would like to say not next spring, but fall spring.
I mean, we don't care about baseball. We just keep the soccer fields.
All right, we can't have our choice projects around here. But hopefully, hopefully within the next, I would like it personally to be completed by the time I'm on board, which would be 2 years.
That might not be something.
That's,
How many septic, obviously that was an issue before we had this school being built. We had the flow going this way, can it handle that much more volume?
yeah, well, this may not have to be on its own system. Because, because all the drain lines go this way, and the pump station's there. So I don't know if we would run it back. Well, I mean, technically, we could do it from down the
Pull
driveway.
it back this way, maybe those guys can go and handle it.
And just where that field house is and what that field house is, because one of the plan, my initial plan was basically you had a field here, the field house in the middle, and then another field. And so where the field house, basically operates on both sides, wherever sport it is. Because, there still isn't any bleacher or anything like that in here either, so that's, but.
It could be done in phases, but I think if you wear it off, do it now, you're better than try to come back because it's, you'll never get it done.
Well, we've got, where we all, we can find it. And I think that makes plenty of sense. Locate on that for them exactly where the building is, the current building we're sitting in, the gym. Here we are. Y'all see that? And then,
Back in the building, and everything close,
so
to the building.
So it all be
back to
on this side.
down the track.
They want to keep that open, so we gotta get it that way.
And we'll pay the fire lane.
That would be part of it.
While we're doing the fire line.
Are we still talking about their usage of it, or is that totally separate from the land?
Totally separate.
Okay.
So do we have enough student athletes to support having this type of complex? I have a daughter who ran track, and I know that they have like 60 to 80, Coach Smith is overwhelmed with the amount of people who do track. But I know like soccer last year, we combined JV and varsity because we didn't have enough to field two teams. I don't know anything about baseball because I don't have a baseball player.
Well, and I think it's definitely a valid point. My concern is that, like, right now, baseball team could be doing field, ball practices and ball, scrimmages and those kind of things, and when they have the field to play. And if they do, they have to go to David Jackson, which is
That's one of the problems we have, again, safety and other issues when you're away from the campus. Everybody's driving every day for practice and whatever. The more we can make it contained on the campus here, the better it'll be. And I think that'll also help participation.
Yeah, and we've even seen in boys basketball, it's a little bit with the girls basketball, but definitely boys basketball, because they have been more successful. There probably is going to be a real push to have a JV team this year. And now that we have the ability to do that, we have kids that are wanting to participate in basketball, and some very talented kids that come in because of that. As ninth graders, the parents have one because of the education they get, but also because of the facilities, and just simply having it where your mom does have to come pick him up as a ninth grader and transfer.
I can't do that. And you're not, the driver's license, what happens?
Right.
No.
So it gets back into the security and the safety of the kids, what they're doing and what's happening, what's not happening, and then also to the issue of just the whole development of completing the school. So we have the fields. We're not like some of these other charter schools that are supposed charter schools, but they're for sports, where they have 8 and 10 fields and those kind of things. We want one good quality field and those kind of things that can support the kids that are here. And they're cross country, state championships, track and field, state, issues over there.
Well, also you look at PE,
and we'll build a host.
you look at PE, that's part of the curriculum, it's required by the state. And you're not just self-contained the gym, you have to go all the way up front on the highway to get on a good curve. You go back to even having, field day, all kinds of things you can do. Even intramurals, so many different things, festivals, it just opens up a lot of possibilities.
And then if we continue to have a real COVID issue in the next 10 years, we can go bleachers big enough where we can spread out. I'll be honest with you, look at this kind of issue.
Well, right now, it's an issue.
Right, sure. So this is the first, well, probably the third or fourth proposal we went under contract with Suncraft to do this, and ABC Engineering to figure this out, and we've been going back and checking. We got this about 2 o'clock today, and so I already had about 6 or 8 emails going back and forth saying that doesn't work and all that, so it's definitely a very fluid situation, with that.
We had to have a plan to take to the college to get approval, and they wanted more details, so that's what this is. The good thing is our relationship with the college is really good. And I think the time right now to do this, to do ask is what we need to strike my iron.
We have a meeting tomorrow, okay.
And then the last thing is the bus, we're still dealing with the bus issue, and David's been involved, I've been involved. We are running into a lot of problems with people we bought the bus with, and it may be coming out where we're going to get legal, take legal action against them. And I
was so excited when we got the bus.
We all were. And the problem is for the new board members is that the bus is an activity bus, not a school bus. And they say they sold us an activity bus, but if you go look at the charter that's in the bus, it's a manifest of how the bus was made, it says that it's a school bus. The problem is that's laid over another document that's in the bus that says it's an activity bus. So the issue is because it's got to pass Jacob's Law and states after on, it has to be classified as a school bus, not an activity bus. And so that's the issue that we're dealing with. So unfortunately, we have nice good bus out there that we can't.
There's been a lot of money in the grant, fixed, and we're set out on things. Can't put our children on.
We really had GMC.
Well, the bus was, and we used the bus, until they got it re-inspected, and the new inspector said, oh, what's the deal with these 2 stickers?
What's behind this label?
It's a security thing, so like if you look at the 2 buses out there, the new bus has a nice big round, not round, but
Round tires.
Right, but they didn't have, but windows are very large on it, and so what they did is they went and cut out the center beam for the safety issue on the side. It still has all the sensors, it still has, and there may be clarification to where we can get it cleared to be able to be driven. And we're looking at all aspects to do that. It's just that we were, so it may come down to having legal counsel in Oklahoma to deal with this issue. So that's.
Or I may have to use my mother voice.
Which could not be nice.
Well, he couldn't hear me on the phone.
I think that might be that choice.
And I called him back, I still can't hear you. Well, how'd you know I was talking?
I'm sure we'll get it straight. I'm so sorry having to go through it. We worked so hard. Policy and governance, one of the hardest working committees.
No, John's doing hard work.
Well, they're all hard. Everybody works hard.
Nothing's accomplished without help and guidance. I want to thank everyone who helped. It made it look simple and easy, but it goes behind the scenes and doing things to do it right. Thank you very much. Everyone does. Welcome to the new and current board members to a new term. Obviously, it was done on October 5th and started in 8 o'clock on October 6th. We had a very decent population for responses. We had 41% of our parents that responded to it. It was excellent for our state. And we never have that much kind of participation. One, they do leading that people actually checking their emails more than normally because of COVID, so that kind of helped also. There is a point of saying no matter what we do, we have to find a better way to reach out. And we talk about paying if we have emails coming back or not. Like Jamie said, we did this survey, we had at least 20 to 30% of the people never even opened the email. So our point was how do we change that verbiage to make it more interesting to them and almost make it like your child's in need of your support right now, votes for someone. Thank you very much for wanting to be on the board. Great job, Matt. And I'll never know that. So our 4 new board members, I'll say new and old, is John Stewart, Pauline Nickel, Matt Williams, and Elliot Figueroa. Thank you very much for joining. Welcome, Jeff. Thanks. Yes. And that other guy from here is the new appointment also. Thank you very much for that honor. New board members, you were sworn in, already done, which is great. You will be required to take this Fred said, the education within the first year, I have the links, if you want to send updated links, they may have something, just do it on your own leisure, it's not too hard, too painful, but it's something at least you learn what we do, why we do it. A lot of people don't understand the legal part behind, and why it's also very, very important to come to the board meetings. Our university, we here, we have a quorum, we don't, we're basically just sitting ducks waiting. You cannot make it, I work downtown, getting here for me is difficult, it goes at the end of the month. Anything about my business, it's crazy. Also, I'll be getting you a policy and procedure governance stuff that we have on the documents. You'll getting a copy of that too, so you catch yourself up. Not much has been fully updated or current on all our policy procedures. That's what I have a question for. Obviously, we'll help you with the search committee on the back end, what we have to do. It's nice to they're going through. Maybe we'll get this a little faster, but Mr. Crawford, for the policy and governance committee, thank you for all you've done, for your leadership, and also just for the idea of, as a parent, as a parent of the school, my kids getting here. Thank you.
Yeah, and so, Rita Danner's not with us tonight. Do you know anything on him? Okay. We just skipped academic excellence committee report. No one here. Is there any other business to come before the board? Next month, November the 16th, at 5:30, will be your official meeting. Members, and you'll be voting with us in that meeting. Look forward to having leadership with us next year. Anything else? Not, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I have a motion. Roy, thank you very much.
You guys
Oh, my God.
How many times I've gone to you like this?
Not,